A trashed incubator, and this is after I cleaned it. Let's see if it can hatch some chicks. Hey friends, it's Steph. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I love to reclaim, reuse, recycle stuff. And this incubator was probably I'd have to say one of the most trashed things I've ever brought back to life. Luckily for it, the bottom took the most of the damage. It was sitting outside for months. Oh, isn't that a beautiful egg? Sorry, squirrel. As I was saying, the bottom took most of the damage, but the top was still sort of good. So I plugged it in and ran it for a few days, and it was okay. So I began the long and arduous journey of cleaning it up. The water tray underneath was cracked, but as I used the dry hatch method, that really didn't matter to me. So I stuck the little plastic grating that you can see underneath the egg turner and the styrofoam bottom into the bathtub. And I gave them a very hot bath with a splash of vinegar, and it was probably about half a cup of vinegar to half of the tub. The lid I did clean differently as it had the electrical components and the actual heat bar. I don't know if that's the proper term. But yeah, I took a air compressor nozzle and just blew all the dust out of it. And then I took a cloth with the hot water and vinegar mix and gently wiped down the insides, trying not to touch the electrical stuff as much as I could. And the third step that I did was to put both the top and the bottom into direct sunlight. For a few days, actually, they did stay in my window, and the sunlight helps disinfect everything. It snowed and snowed, and the hardest part for especially beginners hatching eggs is not to mess with them, but I recommend that you just let the egg turner do its job. And I think it's because of this that I choose the dry method. It's so much easier for me. I find that the humidity spikes and then drops and spikes and drops, even with a level and properly filled tray that came with the incubator. I just find that I get better results if I just leave things alone. I check the temperature daily at least, and it should be around 99.5. And then I just keep waiting. And it was really hard to do because all it did was snow. But don't worry, there does come the time where you get to candle the eggs and find out which ones are good and which ones aren't. This one was very clearly a good one, and I'll tell you why. Because when you hold it over the light, see, the end is clear and the rest of it is very dark. The very dark stuff is the chick. And so we're candling, I believe it was on day 12 this time, 12 or 13. And you can see right through the ones that don't have a chick in them. The ones that are not any good get put into the compost, and that will be another video called The Best Compost You Don't Want. So watch for that coming out soon. And the ones that we do have a chick in, we will just pop right back into the incubator, into the egg turner again, so that they can continue growing. This is a really fun activity to do with kids. They always really enjoy looking for the eggs that have baby chicks in them. And right here we have a really good example of a failed egg. You can see where it's partially developed, but you can still see most of the way through most of the egg, which is a bummer, but sometimes it happens. And I don't believe I've met anyone with 100% hatch rate, so keep your chin up. So the day does come when you get to take your eggs out of the egg turner, and I had noticed that I had a pip already. A pip is when the egg is cracked from the inside, so the little egg tooth right there has split the egg open, and then we wait for them to unzip is what it's called, and that is what gives you a little baby bird. So that's a really healthy chick peeping away, and that helps the other ones. The peeping encourages them to hatch as well. So he's gonna stay in there and dry off, and there he's getting a little more fuzzy, helping his little sibling out, who's just unzipping right there. And it does take some time. And it was around this time where the humidity did drop. So I have my little dish in there with a tiny bit of hot water. The humidity should stay above 30%. I find it just so funny how babies just fall asleep. It's like powering down. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, there he goes. It is such a fun experience to watch them hatch. And after about 6 hours, I think it was, we had 3. And they did their best to wobble around on the rest of the eggs and encourage them to all hatch even more. And just a quick little reminder that the humidity should never go above 75%. For a baby chicken, the yolk is what they use to sustain themselves for the first couple days of life. So it's completely fine to let them dry off in the incubator. So after 24 hours and some more snow, we actually had our brooder set up, which is just a little Rubbermaid bin. And we got to take them out when they were all dry. And always, if you love seeing little chickies and cute baby animals, I want you to smash that like button and hit subscribe and turn on the little bell so you can be notified when I put out a new vid. So, since the baby birds don't have a mama to show them what to do, a really good idea is to just poke your finger into their food dish like you're pecking it, and eventually, usually they catch on really quick, and they love to eat. I always love just watching them. It's so cute to see them like flopping around or falling asleep suddenly. The kids love to point out their favorite ones. So at this point, I was going to find the shallow water dish and some rocks or marbles so that if the little chickies fall asleep in the water, they wouldn't drown. It's very important to put either good sized gravel that they can't eat or marbles in the water. So while I go and look for that, I will leave you guys to watch some cute chickies for a while. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on this adventure from rust to fluff. I'm glad this experiment worked and it was so much fun. We'll see you next time.